Well, hey folks, it's your old pal, King Waspinator here. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. We've made it up to the last week of October, and oddly, this might be the very first week since I first started putting out game products last month, where actually a whole week's going to go by without something new dropping. Currently, as you can see on the screen in front of you, in the middle of working on Dracula's Carpathian Christmas. I just finally got to the midway point. Since it's a Christmas themed game and there's lots of Christmas references in it, I figured, 12 days of Christmas, it's going to have 12 chapters. Most of the meat and potatoes of this stew is in the first half, and so thankfully that's done. Most of the rest of it's going to be just providing a bunch of like NPCs, adventure ideas, things that'll happen over the course of a campaign. The basic concept here is, in some ways, this is my World of Darkness parody. It's set in, the Victorian era / America's Gilded Age, uh, in Transylvania, and there's things about it where you could, like how a lot of my games kind of tend to be. For those of you who've been looking into my titles, there's things about it that you can play it as a very ridiculous, tongue-in-cheek, funny, silly game. You can play it as something kind of weirdly heartwarming and true to the spirit of Christmas, or it can also be like really, really dark and twisted. Um, the way I have it set up is that there's 4 different character creation sections, because for describing 4 different types of characters people can play. Plus, also there's enough rules in the basic original chapter that you could just make generic human characters too if you want. But I have it set up where first thing a player will decide is whether or not their character is going to be naughty or nice, and from there you get funneled off into, you can either play a Christmas elf that's being sent straight from Santa Claus to come grant Dracula's Christmas wish, or you can play one of Dracula's werewolf servants. Also have rules for playing vampire brides of Dracula. That also has guidelines for making more open-ended vampires that aren't from Transylvania. But for whatever chauvinistic reason, in Transylvania, Dracula pretty much just sticks to turning women into vampires. And also introducing authentic medieval wenches who practice wenchcraft to hide their witchery from the Inquisition and other church forces who might frown upon their activities. It's coming along pretty interestingly, but it's going to be thick. It's like definitely it's incorporating like everything I've been developing with the rule system as I've been going along. So hopefully I should have it done by the end of this week and out sometime at the very beginning of November, fingers crossed. I'm also putting a bit more time than I usually do in making sure that there's lots of reference art and maps, for Transylvania and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a pretty thorough book. Probably, as of now, I'm guesstimating somewhere around the 200-page mark, possibly longer. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, the thicker chapters are all done. These last chapters might, just be like 10 pages a pop. It's probably going to be longer than that, but, like, best guesstimate, we're still probably looking at 60 to 70 pages of material minimum before I'm going to put a bow on it and put it out there. But yeah, just, since it's taking a bit longer to get this one done, I just figured I'd kind of give, y'all a little bit of a sneak preview of what's coming down the pipeline, and I'll have more to say about it when the time is appropriate. I also want to put this out there for customers of other games of mine. If you've purchased, Expedition to Ancient Egypt or Escape from Planet Matriarchy or Ghosts of the Shadow Zone or even Amazon Time Barbarians, just for content's sake, I am curious to start maybe getting some kind of feedback on what kind of stuff y'all might want to see more of from those settings, not just in terms of like rule stuff. I do remember someone had suggested putting out a book that's just purely the Total Party Skills system, which I have actually kind of been slowly accumulating stuff in one master file. In order to be able to have something that's printable on Amazon, it's got to be at least 72 pages. So when I get to a point where I feel like I'm at least there and there's enough material to put out, I'll probably do something with that, but I don't know exactly when that's going to be. But, if there's, like, would you want to know more about, the Kingdom of Nubia? Should I do more setting-specific stuff about areas of Egypt? Do you want more planets for Escape from Planet Matriarchy, or what kind of stuff might be fun for Amazon Time Barbarians. I'm curious to see what kind of things that there are in the actual game settings that are resonating with those of you who've purchased them. And, just so that I'm not wasting my time and your time putting out source material that no one really wants. I'm like I said, I'm curious as to get kind of feedback on what kind of stuff that you would like to see more of regarding, these specific titles. So anyway, I guess that's all I got to say. Be sure to tell me below in the comments your thoughts. You can always find me on Twitter on @PartySkills. If for some reason I'm not responding quickly enough to a YouTube comment, I don't always get notifications for those. It just kind of depends on whether I actually go to my little page app and look, which I tend to check fairly regularly. But sometimes things get hectic. We're in the middle of moving, and I'm like a week out from my first wedding anniversary, and I'm also trying to write a book. So yeah. Anyway, though, I'm available. Get hold of me. Leave me comments. I'm pretty sure I said something that's like bad in this, and I don't know. Like Gary Gygax sucks. Whatever. I hate something that you like. There we go. Cool. Now it's been a YouTube video. Anyway, talk to y'all later and stay waspinated.